के साथ एक और सम्मान भारतीय छात्र संसद के मंच से प्रदान किया जाता है और वो है कृषि योद्धा सम्मान। आप जानते हैं कि भारत एक कृषि प्रधान देश है, हम बचपन से पढ़ते आ रहे हैं, लेकिन कृषि में डिस्ट्रेस भी है। कृषि एक ऐसा मुद्दा है जिसको हर सरकार ये सोचती है कि वो उसे सॉल्व करे, लेकिन बहुत सारी चीजें हैं जो रह जाती हैं। और कृषि को लेकर और उसके प्रति अपना जीवन को जो समर्पित किया है, आज एक ऐसे ही योद्धा जो कि कृषि के योद्धा कहलाते हैं, उस सम्मान से आज हम सम्मानित करेंगे। हमारे बीच कृषि योद्धा सम्मान से सम्मानित हो रहे हैं जाने माने कृषि वैज्ञानिक देवेंद्र शर्मा जी। जोरदार तालियों के साथ आज मंच पर विराजमान हमारे बीच कृषि योद्धा सम्मान से सम्मानित, कृषि पर जो बहुत बड़े जानकार हैं, आपने टीवी चैनल्स पर भी उनको जरूर देखा होगा, विभिन्न विषयों पर वो लिखते रहे हैं। आइए जरा उनके बारे में और विस्तार से जाने इस छोटी सी वीडियो क्लिप के माध्यम से।
Devendra Sharma is a distinguished food and trade policy analyst, an award-winning Indian journalist, writer, thinker and researcher. Trained as an agricultural scientist, he has been also working with the Indian Express. He did his graduation from CSK, Himachal Pradesh Agricultural University, Palampur. He also holds a master's degree in plants breeding and genetics. He has been awarded with the honorary degree of Professor at Large by the CSK, Himachal Pradesh Agricultural University, Palampur. He is also a visiting professor to the International Rice Research Institute in the Philippines, visiting fellow at the School of Development Studies at the University of East Anglia, Norwich, and a visiting fellow at the University of Cambridge. He had the privilege and honor of addressing parliamentary briefings at several parliaments in Europe, including the House of Commons. He was also invited to speak at an intergovernmental working group on the draft United Nations Declaration on the rights of peasants and others living in rural areas by the UN Human Rights Council. Among his recent works include few books such as GATT and India, The Politics of Agriculture, In the Famine Trap, and Mutti Bhar Dano Ke Liye, etc. His aim is to change the popular discourse, the mainline economic thinking that has only added to global problems. He travels extensively, spending most of his time in the villages. He also uses his regular columns to disseminate the analysis among the masses. We are honored to welcome Shri Devendra Sharma.
तो आपकी जोरदार तालियों के साथ आज यहाँ सम्मानित कर रहे हैं कृषि योद्धा सम्मान से कृषि वैज्ञानिक श्री देवेंद्र शर्मा जी।
And it is indeed my honor and privilege to read the citation of honor being presented to Shri Devendra Sharma ji, the founder member of Kisan Ekta, distinguished food trade policy analyst and agricultural expert. Sir, you as an agricultural scientist have displayed outstanding commitment, courage and conviction coupled with revolutionary ideas of improving farming and farmers' lives to take India on the path of development. Your relentless research on policy issues concerning sustainable agriculture, biodiversity and intellectual property rights, environment and development, food security and poverty, biotechnology and hunger, and implications of the free trade policies for the developing countries are exemplary in nature. We, the undersigned, do hereby proclaim that we honor your exemplary contribution to the cause of strengthening the agricultural sector in our country. Signed, R.A. Mashelkar, President BCS, Vishwanath D. Karad, Executive President BCS, T.N. Session, Chairman BCS, Tushar Gandhi, Executive Chairman BCS, and Rahul V. Karad, Founder BCS.
तो जोरदार तालियों के साथ कृषि योद्धा पुरस्कार से सम्मानित होने वाले श्री देवेंद्र शर्मा जी आज हमारे बीच, हमारे मंच पर विराजमान। उनके अनुभवों को हम सुनना चाहेंगे और आज के विषय पर भी वो प्रकाश डालेंगे। आपकी जोरदार तालियों के बीच मंच पर आमंत्रित हम सबको संबोधित करने के लिए माननीय देवेंद्र शर्मा जी।
Thank you very much to the MIT University for bestowing this honor and award to me. And I accept this award in the name of millions of farmers who do not have a voice. मुझे लगता है कि मेरा जो रोल रहा है आज तक वो शायद उस जनता का, उस मेजॉरिटी का जिसकी कोई आवाज़ नहीं है, उसकी आवाज़ को लेके बुलंद करना शायद यही काम था, और इसीलिए आप सब ने मुझे सम्मानित किया। बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद। जब अपने बारे में सुनना मिले तो इससे ज़्यादा क्या खुशी हो सकती है, क्योंकि अक्सर जब मैं मॉर्निंग में ट्वीट करता हूँ तो मुझे ट्रोल का सामना करना पड़ता है। जब मैं ये कहता हूँ पंजाब में 2 किसान मर गए, आज महाराष्ट्र में 3 किसान मर गए, तो मुझे जनता लिखती है, और पढ़े लिखे लोग हैं, कि इनको तो मर जाना चाहिए था। ये देश के ऊपर बोझ हैं, जितनी जल्दी ये देश ये बोझ उतार सके उतनी जल्दी ही देश की प्रगति होगी। ये मुझे अक्सर लिखा जाता है ट्विटर पे हर रोज। मैं कई बार सोचता हूं कि क्या इस देश में इतनी हमारे को जो एक डिस्कनेक्ट हो गया है आज गांव के साथ, कि हमें लगता ही नहीं है कि ये हमारे देश का हिस्सा है। क्या कारण है? क्या कारण है कि किसान में इतनी, हम जानते हैं इतना क्राइसिस, इतना एग्रेरियन डिस्ट्रेस प्रिवेल कर रहा है आजकल, और हम सोचते हैं कि शहर में हम बिल्कुल उससे अलग हैं, हमें कोई इंपैक्ट नहीं करेगा। थोड़ा सा हम इसको समझने की अगर कोशिश करें कि ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है। अभी कुछ महीने पहले महाराष्ट्र में एक यंग लड़के ने, किसान के बेटे ने आत्महत्या की। वो ग्रेजुएशन कर रहा था। जब वो अपने ही घर के कुएं में जंप किया उसने, तो एक चिट्ठी छोड़ गया। चिट्ठी पे लिखा था कि मुझे समझ नहीं आता कि मेरा गांव में पटवारी है, उसका बच्चा जो है वो 1 लाख रुपया देके किसी प्राइवेट स्कूल में पढ़ रहा है या कॉलेज में पढ़ रहा है। मेरा बाप कब 1 लाख रुपया कमाएगा कि मैं जो है उसी प्राइवेट कॉलेज में या अच्छे कॉलेज में जा सकूं। अभी हाल में पंजाब में एक किसान ने आत्महत्या की, रोजाना होती हैं। उसने नहर में जंप किया। नहर में जंप करने से पहले वो एक चिट्ठी लिख के गया, लेकिन उससे पहले जानना ये जरूरी है उसने क्या किया। इतना मार्मिक सिचुएशन है वो। So what he did was, he actually tied his 5-year-old son on his waist. 5 साल के बच्चे को उसने अपनी छाती पे बांधा और फिर उसने नहर में जंप किया, और उसने लिखा कि मैं जानता हूं कि मैं गलत कर रहा हूं, ये 5 साल के बच्चे को अपने साथ लेके जा रहा हूं, लेकिन मेरा कर्जा 10 लाख रुपए का है, और ये मैं जानता हूं कि ये बेटा जो मेरा है ये सारी जिंदगी 10 लाख रुपया जो है ये इसको रिपे नहीं कर पाएगा। He will not be able to repay 10 lakh rupees that I own as a loan, he said, over his entire life. So therefore, what is the life if you are living in debt all through your life? Now, this is an outcome of an economic design. It is not that agriculture is unproductive. It is that we have made agriculture unproductive. We have made agriculture economically unviable. And that we need to understand. When farmers die every other day, I'm asked this question again and again by the media, why are farmers dying? Why are they committing suicide? There are various reasons, of course, you know. But one day, I thought I will do an analysis. I looked into, because I have always realized that the farmers in India have been deprived of their rightful income all these years. The economic design is so laden that it actually sucks the income, wealth from the bottom to the top. You know, I give you the example of one old woman in the village. She has nothing else to depend on. She goes to buy a bakri, a goat. She gets it at 26% rate of interest from an MFI institution. 10,000 rupees that she needs to buy a goat to make a living out of it. She gets it for, as I said, 10,000 rupees, which comes from the Microfinance Institute, which charges 26% rate of interest. But when you have to repay at weekly intervals, it actually becomes 60%. So look at the rate, phenomenal rate that we charge from the poor women, and look at what Tata's got when they're setting up a nano factory in Gujarat. They got a loan of 520 crore rupees from the government, which had to be paid back in, not in weekly installment, but paid back in 20 years, and the rate of interest was 0.1%. So the people who can pay are given loans or credit at a cheaper rate, whereas the farmers who can't pay are given loans at a phenomenal rate. We believe it is empowerment of the people. Look at the narrative that has been coined. Now what happens? I'm sure you will agree, if that old woman in the village who actually got a goat for 10,000 rupees had got an interest rate of 0.1%, I'm sure she would have been driving a nano car at the end of the year. But that's our economic design. I read, when I look at the farmer loans now being waived off, there is an uproar in this country. Oh, this money is going into a drain. There are people who don't deserve it. You know, the fiscal deficit will go up and so on and so forth. But before we go to the fiscal deficit, let me give you another example of how farmers have been kept impoverished all these years. We need to understand that. In 1970, the formative years of Green Revolution, the wheat price, the MSP that we call minimum support price, was 76 rupees per quintal. At that time, the salary of school teachers was 90 rupees per month. The next year, when the salary of school teachers was raised to 100 rupees, they celebrated Diwali. And at that time, as I said, farmers were getting a minimum support price of 76 rupees per quintal. I look at the next 45 years. In 2015, the farmer wheat price was 1,450 rupees per quintal, which is a jump of 19 times over 45 years. I looked at the other sections of society. The government employees, their basic pay and DA increased by 120 to 150 times. The basic pay of college teachers and professors increased by 150 to 170 times. The basic pay of school teachers increased by 250 to 320 times. And the income of farmers increased by 19 times. I'm sure if the income of all sections of society had increased at the rate at which the farmers' income had increased, many of them would have committed suicide or left the job. How we deliberately kept farmers impoverished. Now, if you ask me, actually what the farmer deserves is, if I look at the minimum parity, income parity norms, then he deserves his income to be raised by 100% at least, 100 times at least. So the income or the MSP of wheat in 2015 should have been 7,600 per quintal. That is what he rightfully deserves. What he got was 1,450 per quintal. Now, if you look at the period of 45 years, I found when I was a young reporter with Indian Express, I used to report of farmers throwing tomato on the streets, potato on the streets, and so on. And even now, we get reports of farmers throwing potato and tomato and onions on the streets, and so on. It tells us that in the last 45, 50 years, nothing has happened as far as agriculture is concerned. The entire economic design is only for the industry. And look at the banking sector, for instance. You know, when I find the crop loans being written off, and then when I compare with the corporate loans being written off, the chief economic advisor of India, who's retired now or gone back, used to say, writing off of the corporate loans leads to economic growth. Wow, what kind of economic model is this? Writing off of the corporate loans leads to economic growth, whereas writing off of the poor farmers' loans leads to credit indiscipline and moral hazard. Whereas both these people, whether it is a farmer or the corporates, they take loan from the same banks, are unable to pay back. One is treated as economic growth, one is treated as a credit indiscipline and a burden on national balance sheet. This is the economic design that we have laid out. It doesn't end. If you look at the reports appearing in the newspapers, in the last 4 years, 2014 to 2018, the corporates have been given an exemption or write-off of 3,16,000 crores. And they still have an NPA of 10 lakh crores standing there. This is despite an economic stimulus of 1,86,000 crore given at the time of the global meltdown in 2008-09, which is still continuing. The corporates have been paid 18,60,000 crores in the last 10 years. Nobody ever questioned that the fiscal deficit will go up. You only question the fiscal deficit will go up when it comes to farmers or the poor. Why? This is the design. I think the younger people need to understand that the design itself is faulty. Design is leading to the killing of farmers. In fact, Raghuram Rajan used to say that the best reform would be when we are able to move people out of agriculture into the urban areas, because urban areas need dihadi mazdoor. Agar dihadi mazdoor economics hai, so I think we need to look at the entire economic model that this country has borrowed from. And that is something which we have ignored. We somehow believe कि ये बहुत किसी बाइबल में लिखा हुआ है, किसी गीता में लिखा हुआ है, किसी धर्म ग्रंथ में लिखा हुआ है कि यही इकोनॉमिक मॉडल चलेगा. मेरा मानना ये है, my belief is that the time has come for all of us to question that economic model which is killing farmers. It is not that the farmer is unproductive. It is not that the farmer wastes his money and also doesn't know how to spend. It is commonly said that these people don't know how to spend money. These people are spending too much extravagantly on their marriages and so on, and these people are drunkards. This is also said. If drunkard was the problem, I am sure most of the delegates in this part would have also been suffering if drinking was an issue. The issue is, look at a classical example of Punjab. When I come to Maharashtra, I'm told lack of irrigation is the problem. 18% area under irrigation. जब तक irrigation नहीं बढ़ेगा, productivity नहीं बढ़ेगी, तो income नहीं बढ़ेगी. That's the kind of formula being suggested to us. Look at Punjab. Punjab has 98% area under assured irrigation, which means every crop field gets an assured supply of water. The productivity of Punjab is topping the world. Wheat, rice, maize, cereal crops. Punjab tops the world in productivity. Punjab farmers should be very affluent. That's the argument of economists of India. But in reality, Punjab has become a hotbed of farmer suicides. The universities there did a study between 2001, between year 2000 and 2017, 16,600 farmers committed suicide in the most prosperous area in India, agriculture area, which is Punjab. There's something fundamentally going wrong. There is something fundamentally going wrong. We need to understand how lakhs of crores or hundreds of thousands of crores of corporates are written off. We call it haircut. And poor farmers have been receiving shaved head every time. In Punjab, Punjab Agriculture Bank has recently issued legal notices to 75,000 farmers for not paying one installment of the loan that they carry. Many of them are behind bars. I can tell you, if you were to put the corporates also behind bars, you will see there will be no problem of default happening there. उनको भी जेल में डालिए, अगर किसानों को जेल में डालते हैं, क्यों नहीं? क्यों नहीं? क्या हम ये मान के चलते हैं कि इकोनॉमी सिर्फ कॉर्पोरेट ही चलाते हैं, जिनके ऊपर हमने इतना पैसा खर्च कर दिया? 2004-2005 से लेके अभी तक हमने 55 लाख करोड़ रुपए के 55 lakh crore is the tax exemption we have given to corporates. And how much is 55 lakh crore? One economist who was recently with the Economic Advisory Committee of the Prime Minister has said that the 10 gas cylinders, if you remember the LPG gas cylinders, would amount to 48,000 crores, and 48,000 crores must not be given to people. That was a drain, he said at that time. So 48,000 crore से एक साल की गरीबी मिटती है. That's what he had said. I use the same argument. 55 लाख करोड़ रुपए जो आपने कॉर्पोरेट को एग्जाम्पशन दिए हैं, उससे 110 साल की गरीबी मिटती है. Why don't we want a kind of a design model, economic design, जिसमें देश में जो गरीबी है वो इतिहास बन जाए? Poverty should become a history. If I were somewhere in the power, I would have ensured that the kind of discount the corporates are getting, kind of exemption, that should have actually come out, that we have taken money out of that and we should have utilized for poverty eradication. अगर 110 साल में हमारी गरीबी मिटती है, तो ये आप मानेंगे कि देश में गरीबी इतिहास बन जाती है. Don't we want that kind of a model? लेकिन ये क्यों ऐसा बनाया गया कि आप इकोनॉमिक स्टिमुलस भी देते हैं? 7,000 स्टेप्स ऑफ ईज ऑफ डूइंग बिजनेस फॉर द कॉर्पोरेट्स. आप 1,000 स्टेप्स तो ले आइए एग्रीकल्चर में. If you really want to help agriculture, let us give farmers 1,000 steps for easing of doing agriculture. Whereas every focus of this country is on industry. I'm not against industry. All I'm saying is the country must maintain a balance now. The time has come when we cannot go on pumping money into one sector thinking the entire thing will trickle down to the poor. ऐसा नहीं होता है. Trickle down theory has failed all over the world. इसका basic problem क्या है? Problem है जिस तरीके से हम GDP estimate करते हैं. The way we estimate GDP is the primary problem, primary reason for this kind of a crisis that is happening. Let me give you one example. The GDP of India, as the young leader said, is now 7.1, 7.2. I don't know how much of it is fudged. ये हम सब जानते हैं. लेकिन एक चीज और है बड़ी interesting. यूरोप में, in Europe, their GDP is very low. You know what they are doing? They're actually compiled how much is the illegal drug sales, how much is the share of prostitution. They have put together in their GDP calculations. Britain started it, France has done half of it, other countries have done of it, and the Statistical Institute of European Union has now asked all governments to include prostitution and drug sales, illegal drug sales in GDP calculation. आपने और हमने कभी जीडीपी पे सवाल उठाया नहीं। हम ये मान के चलते हैं कि जीडीपी इज द टचस्टोन टू डेवलपमेंट। अगर प्रोस्टिट्यूशन और इलीगल ड्रग सेल्स भी उसमें ऐड किए जाते हैं तो ये किसकी डेवलपमेंट है, ये हमें जानना बहुत जरूरी है। And I think younger leader need to understand the complexities. Don't be overawed when a Nobel laureate comes and tells you, or when a senior person from New Delhi will come and tell you कि GDP नहीं बढ़ेगा तो देश का विकास रुक जाएगा। ऐसा नहीं होता है। इनफैक्ट उल्टा होता है, उल्टा होता है। अगर आप गरीब के ऊपर अटैक करते हैं, असॉल्ट करते हैं, किसानों को मदद देते हैं, तो सारी इकोनॉमी रिवाइव होती है। अभी देखिए, 7th पे कमीशन benefits 2% of the population. 7th pay commission, when it was introduced by the finance minister, he said that 45 lakh central government employees and pensioners 50 lakh would get a benefit of additional benefit of 1,02,000 crores every year. लेकिन क्रेडिट स्विस बैंक की एक रिपोर्ट कहती है, क्रेडिट स्विस बैंक रिपोर्ट says when the 7th pay commission is implemented all across the states, it will entail an expenditure of 4,80,000 crores every year. Did anybody ask a question, what will happen to fiscal deficit? Nobody asked a question. Did anybody say where will the money come from? Nobody asked a question. पर किसानों को लोन माफ कर दिया तो हाहाकार मचा पड़ा। टेलीविजन पे आप देखते हैं कि साहब ये पैसा कहां से आएगा, ये फिस्कल डेफिसिट बढ़ जाएगा। ये इसलिए बनाया गया है भाइयों और बहनों कि हमें जानना है कि ये इकोनॉमिक ढांचा इस तरीके से बनाया गया है, इट बेनिफिट्स ए हैंडफुल ऑफ पीपल एट द कॉस्ट ऑफ द नेशन। एंड माई जॉब as an analyst, as a researcher, as a specialist is to bring out that anomaly that exists in the economic design. और मैं ये चाहता हूं कि देश जाने कि किस तरीके से हमने deliberately किसानों को मारा है, हमने डिप्राइव किया है जो उनकी इनकम, जो उनकी स्ट्रेंथ होनी चाहिए थी, और यही एक कारण है आज किसान मर रहा है। पिछले 4 दशकों में, in last 4 decades at least that I know of, the income of farmer has not gone up, and we still borrow the model from America and Europe. In America, recently the chief economic advisor of the US Department of Agriculture has said that the real income of farmers in America has been on the decline since 1960. Imagine, even in America, which is a prosperous country we all know, the real income of farmers is on a decline for the last 5-6 decades. In India, we are borrowing the same model. हमें कहा जाता है कि dairy farmers, for instance, dairy farmers should have proper investment, modern kind of dairy farms. I completely agree. But does it solve the problem? Recently, an American farmer, dairy farmer, committed suicide. He was under distress, terrible distress because the prices have crashed. What he did was, he first killed each of his 51 cows. He had 51 cows, he shot each of the 51 cows, then he shot himself. So the crisis that we see is global in nature, but because we are blindly following the model, economic model from the Western countries, we are destroying our own agriculture strengths also. मेरा ये मानना है कि आप सब जो यंग नेता हैं, you are the future of the country. आपको इसको दोबारा एक fresh approach से देखना पड़ेगा. You will have to rework or revisit the entire economic model to understand why are the farmers dying. Why is it that Vijay Mallya disappears out of this country and nothing happens to him so far? He carries with him 9,000 crores, that's what we heard from the newspapers. Look at the poor farmer who is in the jail for 2 lakh rupees, for 1 lakh rupees, for 4 lakh rupees. Nobody ever complains. Nobody ever complains. This is because we have gone so accustomed to a narrative which is faulty. और मेरा यह मानना है कि समय आ गया है दुनिया में और हमारे देश में, we will all have to now wake up to the new reality. और आप मानेंगे, if 7th pay commission benefits 2% for 2% of the employees, and that is adding a booster dose to the economy, that's what they say. The industry said 2% को जो 4,80,000 crore मिलेगा, that will provide a booster dose to the economy because that create demand. Demand would mean the wheels of the industry will start operating. My dear young leaders, if 52% of the population gets an economic stimulus package of 4,80,000 crores every year, it will create a massive demand, and that would create not only a booster dose for the economy, it will create a rocket dose for the economy. हमें चाहिए ये कि हम किसानों को हाथ में पैसा दें तो रूरल इंडस्ट्री भी चलती है, उसके साथ से देश भी चलता है। और वो जो है सबका साथ सबका विकास का असली स्लोगन जो है उसका इंप्लीमेंट तब होगा जब हम किसान को और गरीब को उसके हाथ में ताकत देंगे। और ये जो मॉडल है जो ट्रिकल डाउन करता है ये फेल हो चुका है, ये आपको जानना बहुत जरूरी है। अमेरिका हो, यूरोप हो, आज दुनिया में जॉब्स नहीं क्रिएट हो रहे हैं। आज दुनिया में जॉब्स नहीं क्रिएट हो रहे हैं, इंडिया में भी जॉब्स नहीं क्रिएट हो रहे हैं। हमें जानते हैं कि 2004 से लेकर अभी तक हर साल 1.25 करोड़ जॉब्स क्रिएट होने चाहिए थे, लेकिन मात्र 1.6 करोड़ जॉब्स हैव बीन क्रिएटेड। सो द पॉइंट आई एम ट्राइंग टू मेक इट, एग्रीकल्चर हैज 52% पॉपुलेशन। अगर आप एग्रीकल्चर को इकोनॉमिकली वायबल और सस्टेनेबल करते हैं तो देश की जो इकोनॉमी है उसको एग्रीकल्चर रीबूट करता है। और ये आप सबको जानना है और मुझे आपने ये अवसर दिया ये आपके समक्ष ये बातें रखने को। और मैं ये जानता हूं कि यंगर लॉट जो है वो देश के प्रति बहुत ही ज़्यादा कमिटेड है और आप लोग इसको दोबारा देखने की कोशिश करेंगे। आप लोग ये जो जार्गन फैले गए हैं, जो ये नैरेटिव बताया गया है, उससे इन्फ्लुएंस नहीं होंगे। आप ये भी जानेंगे कि आपके बैकयार्ड में कोई मर रहा है, कोई आत्महत्या कर रहा है और वो दिन दूर नहीं, वो जो बैकयार्ड ही है शायद एक दिन आपको भी खा जाएगा। So let us try to rebuild in India where agriculture is the only sector which can reboot the economy. बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद, नमस्कार, थैंक यू।
बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद देवेंद्र शर्मा जी। खेती और किसानों के मुद्दों के प्रति पूरी तरह से समर्पित आप सभी से हम अनुरोध करेंगे, कृपया आप सभी अपने स्थानों पर खड़े हो जाएं। हम एक बार फिर से जोरदार तालियां बजाकर सम्मान व्यक्त करेंगे देवेंद्र शर्मा जी, जो किसानों के मुद्दों के बहुत बड़े पैरोकार हैं, खेती और किसानी के लिए पूरी तरह से समर्पित हैं और जिन्होंने एक सक्रिय भूमिका लगातार निभाई है कृषि और किसानी और किसानों से जुड़े मुद्दों को आपके समक्ष लाने की, और बहुत ही बेबाक तरीके से अपनी बात को रखते हैं। और उन्होंने आज भी जो एक तस्वीर हम सबके सामने पेश की है, उस तस्वीर को देखकर वाकई डर लगता है, लेकिन डरने से तो काम चलेगा नहीं, स्टेप उठाने से काम चलेगा, कदम बढ़ाने से काम चलेगा। अपने किसान के साथ खड़े